Knoebels is unlike any park that I have visited. It is old school, it is charming, and it has over 50 attractions. But are they all worth it? Let's find out. Right, before I get into the actual rides, let's have a little chat about the park, shall we? Because this is quite a quirky little park. First of all, I'm sure many of you are going to come at me for my pronunciation. I know everybody calls it Knoebels, and I've just said Knoebels. My argument is you don't say knife and fork, but I believe that this is named after the family, so it probably is Knoebels. Anyway, apologies, I call it Knoebels. The park also has this kind of dual running thing where at the weekends it is a ticket-based system. Very, very old school, so each of the rides has a cost, you get a book of tickets, so it is very old school. Where we have parks like that in the UK, and indeed internationally, they're kind of digital cards that you top up with credit. Yeah, this is a book of tickets that you rip off and hand in. But during the week, when it is less busy, it is a simple wristband. Now, unfortunately, when I visited, it was a weekend. So I bought a book of tickets and I ran out. But by the time I ran out, it was kind of close to closing, so there wasn't much time to buy more. That said, I think I'm going back in 2027 and I'm hoping to be there on a wristband day and get on all the attractions I missed. But let's get through the ones that I've experienced, shall we? Right, so one of the first coasters I'm going to talk about is very, very unique. It was built in-house, and actually I think the sign says something along the lines of, they told us we couldn't build it, so we built it anyway. And that is, of course, Flying Turns. Now, this is a very, very strange ride. Conceptually, it's kind of like a bobsled in that it's kind of trackless and you sort of swing around this, this wooden track. But the thing is that it's a weird train because there's only 3 carriages in it, and they weigh you. There's literally scales at the gates, and they will rearrange passengers to make sure the weight distribution's right. So, you know, you can't specifically ask for a row. I was lucky, I got front row, which allowed me to do a POV. But as I say, this is an in-house attraction, and it is very, very strange, but in a good way. Now, if you think about something like the Mack bobsleds or the Intamin bobsleds, so I'm going to compare this to Avalanche here in Blackpool, you know, you kind of go up the sides a little bit. This thing, you kind of feel like you're going to go off it, and then so it's like massive swings to each side of the track, which is kind of quirky and a lot of fun. So yeah, going to start strong for this first one in the heat pile. The next one is also a little bit strange. I might say that about a few rides here, to be honest, because there's quite a lot of quirkiness and charm in this park, and I think that makes the park really, really appealing. The next one is Black Diamond. Now, it's kind of a cross between a coaster and a dark ride, in that there are definitely sections that kind of feel, few people compared it to the gold mine that we used to have at Blackpool, which is now Wallace and Gromit. There is that kind of dark ride feel, and there's lots of scenes that you go through and stuff, but there are a couple of bits where there are kind of drops, not huge drops, so it is technically a coaster and a credit, and it is very, very strange. I want to say it's moved from another park. I think there's a few things here that have been relocated to this park, including some of the woodies that we'll get onto shortly. But yeah, it's quirky, it's interesting, but I don't know, it wasn't the best thing I've ever been on, so yeah, this one's going in, take it or leave it. There's a flat ride here that I don't think I've ever seen in another park. Its name is Downdraft, and it's tucked way at the back of the park, so quite a lot of our group didn't come across this one. And it's a ride, you sit in these seats, I think it's 2 rows of seats, over the shoulder restraints, and these cars, they spin around, they're on long arms. So the thing spins round, but the arms just kind of fly out like this quite a lot, and there's quite a lot of force involved in it. Definitely a strange little ride, and one I've never seen anywhere else. I mean, if you know of this ride type or you've seen it elsewhere, let me know. But yeah, it was odd. I mean, I'm kind of glad I did it because I like trying weird things, but yeah, I'm going to put this one and take it or leave it as well. Right, as I alluded to earlier, when I was there, it was a ticket day, so I did not get on all of the attractions, and even if it was a wristband day, I still think I might have struggled for the amount of time we had. But there are a number of attractions I kind of want to touch on, either because they're ones I'd like to get on, or I've seen others in our group who went on them and had some feedback on them. So they've got a set of dodgems here, just simply called bumper cars. Fair enough, right? I mean, dodgems are dodgems, but from what I've seen of the other videos from our group, these ones are quite speedy. These look like a lot of fun, and definitely if I return, I will be going on them. So can't give them a rating, but I suspect if I did, I'd probably keep them. If you've seen the video, or indeed the entire series from when I was in America, you will know that when I was there, it was a bit of a heat wave. So as much as possible, we tried to get on water rides to cool down. Now there's two here. I only experienced one of them, again, partly because of the credit situation, and that was their log flume, which is called Giant Flume. And it was pretty good fun. It wasn't the longest attraction, it didn't have the most number of drops, but I'm pretty sure this is the one where we went down the drop, and I was like, oh, okay, a little sprinkling, and then there was this secondary wave that just came flying over the boat. Oh! Oh! Completely soaked me and my bag. So yeah, got a little bit wet on that one. But nonetheless, I enjoyed it, and as I think I've said before, certainly in places that have the heat, these kind of water rides are needed, so I'm gonna keep it. I don't think I've ever seen this in a park, and it could very well be unique. I'm sure if there are other examples, you'll let me know in the comments, but they've got a carousel. Nothing special, right? Standard carousel. But the thing with this carousel is that you have to try and catch these rings on your way around. Now, sounds reasonably straightforward, right? There's this arm that kind of comes out from the side halfway through the ride cycle, and then you're supposed to grab the rings, and if you get a brass ring, I think you win a prize. If you get the other rings, great, nothing happens. As I say, sounds reasonably straightforward. Now, this could just be because I'm a short arse, but I literally had one arm hooked around the bar, and I was hanging off, like ridiculously hanging off, trying to reach this thing. Yeah, I didn't get the brass ring, but I did enjoy it, so I gotta keep it. This next one, so they've got a haunted mansion, and we were a little bit confused by this one because I think, if I've heard this correctly, even on a wristband day, this isn't included. So you need to pay the $3 or whatever it is to get on this attraction. That kind of confused us because we didn't know if our normal book of tickets would work. Turns out it did. But anyway, we went on this haunted mansion, and it was really, really good. There was lots of kind of quirky scenes on it. A lot of people said it, gave the Ghost Train at Blackpool a run for its money, which, yes, it's the original, and I do enjoy it. It's probably not the best one out there. And this one was a lot of fun. There was one bit, I was going along, and I'm like, la la la, yeah, big black scene, nothing happening, and then out of nowhere, truck lights came on and this almighty and I crapped myself. So definitely did its job, because not much phases me, so I'm gonna keep it. The next coaster I'm gonna talk about is one that I initially got the manufacturer wrong. So I saw this coaster and it has vertical lift hill and then straight into a drop. And of course, naturally, if you're an enthusiast, you'll probably understand why. My first reaction was, oh, that's going to be a Gerstlauer. This won't be fun. Because typically they make rides like this, think like Saw at Thorpe Park and various others around the world, and they're not known for being the most comfortable things. Turns out this one is not made by them, and it had lap bar restraints. So it turned out it was very comfortable, very, very smooth, and really enjoyable. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. On the flip side though, credits, shameless creds, had to go on the kids coaster. Now, the kids coaster is called Cosmos Curves, and it's a multi-lap special. I think it was 3 laps you get. 3 laps too many. Not comfortable in any shape or form. Unlike some of the ones, again, if you've seen my trip, typically I complained about the trains not being adult friendly. And I get it, it's a kids coaster. But as I've said many times before, kids quite often get accompanied by a parent. So this was fine. That part was okay, the restraints. The track profiling, on the other hand, not so much. There was various places where you got absolutely flung about and it wasn't very comfortable. So yeah, I know I like kids coasters as an introduction to coasters for the younger generation, but this is not a great example, and yeah, I'm going to scrap it. Another one of those flat rides that I didn't go on, but I definitely will if I go back, is a ride called Looper. It's beside Flying Turns, and it's basically these kind of circular cages, and 2 people sit facing each other. So this whole thing rotates round, kind of carousel-esque, but each of the kind of cars can also rotate along that track. Now, it's not predefined rolling like a wheel around the track to make it work. I think you've got some control over it, like I don't know if it's a pedal or a lever or something that you do, but you basically control how much this thing twists and rolls. I would like to think I would probably just go bananas and go whee. There's a ride later on though where I wanted to do that and I couldn't, so I don't know how easy it is to spin this thing. And I can't rate it because I didn't get on it, but I definitely would go on it if I went again and I had the wristband. So if you've been on this or a ride like it, let me know. Right, halfway through the video, needed to get a coffee, which that's your reminder to hit the like button and subscribe. So the thing that this park really did well and stood out to the whole group when we were there was their wooden coasters. There are 2 of them, and the first one is Phoenix. Now, this coaster, again, I think I said this earlier, some rides have been relocated to this park. Phoenix is one of them. This, I don't know which park it was in, but it's moved to Knoebels, and it is absolutely bonkers. I've never laughed so much on a coaster. It was absolutely crazy. Now, I don't think I experienced it at the back. I kind of did mid-train and numerous front of trains, including a couple of front rows. The front row was absolutely mental. Like, on the way back, there's a couple of like repeated airtime hills. I was standing up. It's just got a buzz bar, right? So I think the guy said there are seatbelts on this attraction, but they're hidden underneath the seats and they only bring them out for inspection. Which, I mean, that's hilarious if true, because surely the inspectors know that's the case. But in any case, the restraints are quite freeing, which I'd imagine to some of the public is quite a scary thing to think, oh my God, I'm flying out this seat. If you're an enthusiast, you want to do that. So I laughed the whole way around this thing. As I say, standing up for a good 50–60% of the ride. It was absolutely mental, and we need more of these, so it is definitely getting kept. The ride I was talking about earlier that I failed to control was their Rockoplane. Now, this is a ride type I have seen many times when I've been doing the history series and stuff, but I had never experienced firsthand. So when I saw one, I was like, well, I kind of need to go on it. So I gets in this thing, and of course the ride up says, have you ever done one of these before? I'm like, nope. She's like, okay, so there's this ring like attached to a bar, and it's up to you, like you can, I can't remember if you pull it for the brake and push it to release or vice versa, but basically you control, like there's a brake to stop this thing spinning. Other than that, you've got to try and use your motion to kind of get this thing going. Yeah, not easy, not easy. Comparable, for me at least, to things like the Gerstlauer spinning, flying things, like Red Arrows at Blackpool, and the new ones are out at Epic. You know, the ones where you kind of tilt the wings and you kind of decide whether you're spinning? Yeah, I can't get them to go round either. This thing, I got most of the way at one point. There's a nostril cam from that particular trip, but I couldn't get a full revolution. So yeah, it's a tricky one because I kind of wanted to like it, and I kind of did like it. But I think some of these ones, and I know it's old school, so it was very much mechanical and do it yourself, kind of just needs a little button that lets you control if you're going to go. So I appreciate it for what it is. It's an older attraction. There's not very many of them these days, at least not here in the UK. So I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm going to put it in take it or leave it. Another attraction that I have never seen firsthand, and I'm frustrated that I ran out of tokens and didn't get to experience, is Satellite. Now I think this is typically known as a dive bomber ride. Basically it's these two, I don't know what you want to call them, like there's sort of two gondolas, if you will, one at either end of an arm, and in the gondolas there's two seats, so there's one facing forward, one facing back. They kind of rotate, the arm spins around. You've probably seen them. I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining this, and I'll try and find some footage to put in and show you it. But yeah, I'd love to know what this is like, because it is, again, a very old attraction. Used to be multiple in the UK, pretty sure there's none left. And that's one of the things I liked about this park. Like, they do preserve these old rides. So yeah, I don't know what it's like, and I cannot rate it, but if you've been on it or others like it, let me know. They've got a cableway thing called the Scenic Skyway, and it's kind of weird. So it's kind of like the lifts you would see at like if you were at a ski slope It's that kind of chair where the two people on the bar comes down and off you go up the hill. I had to wear my rucksack backwards, so there's nowhere to put your stuff whilst you're on the ride. There's nothing to do on the way up. Like, you're staring at some trees climbing up. There's no getting off at the top, so there's nothing at the top. It's all basically leading up to you turning around and coming back down. But even then, I think when I did it, I had to speed up the video because about half of the way down, you're coming back out of the trees. Once you're out of those trees though, that view is stunning. So amazing. Like, this park is picturesque. It's so well sort of located, massive selection of attractions, and you can see all of that from this thing. So yeah, despite the fact that it's a little bit weird going up, pointless actually going up, the coming back down is definitely worth it, and 100% one that I'm going to keep. One more attraction I'm going to talk about that I didn't experience. There's loads I didn't experience, by the way, because I think I said there's 50 something attractions. I didn't get on anywhere close to that, and a lot of them are very kids like focused attractions that I can't and shouldn't go on, and typically I avoid those anyway unless it's a credit. But there's one ride here that I looked over it, didn't think anything of it, went past it, but again I've seen others who have been in that group who went on it. It's their drop tower. Now theirs is called Stratosphere, and alright, fair enough, drop tower, did a few of those on the trip. But the thing about this one, at least from what I've heard from others, is that it's one of those drop towers where it's very late with the brakes, which adds to the experience, right? I think some of these, I mentioned this when I was talking about King's Dominion, because their drop tower is the same, right? Quite often these things, you get halfway down, or maybe not even halfway down, and you've already hit the brakes and you're slowing down and you're like, well, that, you know, but whereas this one, I believe, is exactly the same as King's Dominion, that you're like, did they forget to put the brakes in this thing? Like, this is going to hit the deck, and then just at the last second you just come at a stop, which kind of annoyed it didn't go on this one. And again, when I go back, if it's still there, I'll give it a shot. But yeah, if you've been on it, tell me if you agree. I mentioned earlier that this park has two standout wooden coasters, and the other one is Twister. Now this thing is extremely impressive because a bit like Twisted Turns, this was built in-house, right? This is not made by any of the big boys. It looks like it could be. I mean, it's very well put together, and it is absolutely brilliant. Like, the forces, so the Phoenix ride is all about ejector, right? It's just kicking you out the seat, kicking you out the seat. This thing is more about the laterals. You're getting like pinned to the side of the seat as it does all these turns. There's like this weird double helix thing, which is just crazy. So much fun. And as I say, it's ridiculously impressive that they built this themselves. So there's no two ways about this. This is getting kept. One of the attractions that I was really excited to get on this trip, and I ended up getting on a few of them, because despite the fact that there are none left in the UK, at least I don't think there are, I'm sure you'll tell me if I'm wrong, there's very little, if any, left in the UK. This attraction seemed to still exist in a number of the parks we went to, and that was their whip. Now theirs is called Whipper, and I really enjoyed this. Now, to be fair, it's another one of those strange attractions. Like, I just talked about the cable car thing where, like, going up there's nothing to do, and then coming down you're like, ooh. The whip's a bit like that, right? I mean, if you don't know what the ride is, it's basically this kind of oval building with a ride inside it, and there's like a cable that goes around. There's two wheels at either end on the ground, and then a sort of cable that goes all the way around it, and these cars are attached to it. So when you're going round at the ends, when you're going round that wheel, you get whipped, hence the name. But then in between, there's this long straight till you get to the other side, where nothing happens. You're just kind of like, la la la, wee, la la la, wee, which is a bit odd. But when you are flipping around at the end, it is brilliant. It is a lot of fun. And again, it's a classic attraction that we've lost here in the UK. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to keep it. Right, I have only discussed a fraction of what this park has to offer, because as I say, I've only experienced a fraction of it, but what I have experienced, I absolutely loved. Definitely more in the keep pile than any of the others. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up here. Oh yeah!